You have no idea who I am. I am a god.
Hello everyone, it's Storydive, back again, reacting to and breaking down another trailer, this time the first official trailer for the series American Gods Season 3. In my last video on American Gods, I touched on the fact that the actor Orlando Jones and his character Mr. Nancy have been let go or fired from the series, and as I said in that video, I'm very disappointed by that. I think it was a horrible mistake. Actually, Mr. Nancy will be in Season 3, but not for very much. I think he's just in the first episode, and then we don't see him again. In the comments of that video, I had a lot of people commenting that they were not going to watch the show anymore, which I totally understand. It might be that the show is basically a hot mess at this point. I don't know, but anyway, the new trailer did come out. I took a quick look at it, and I have to admit I am still intrigued in where they're going to go. Just the fact that it's still based on one of my favorite novels, written by one of my favorite writers, makes me intrigued in the series. That aside, for the people that are still interested, I'm going to go over the trailer almost shot by shot and give you my thoughts and break down what's happening and my theories about how it'll relate to Season 3, which, according to the trailer, will premiere in 2021, although they didn't specify when. So let's get started.
You must choose which way your destiny unfolds.
In the first sequence, we can see the Buffalo God. I got some criticism in one of my previous breakdowns that I should call him the Bison God. It's more accurate, but he's called the Buffalo Man in the novel. Anyway, I think he represents the land of America. And this appears to be a dream sequence in which Shadow is recalling his boyhood. We can see he's wearing a very 80s shirt here. That's the type of shirt I would have worn in the 80s. And the voice says, you must choose which way your destiny unfolds. It actually sounds like a voice, which I think we'll see later. Here we see Shadow doing his day job in the town of Lakeside, where he is hiding out under the alias Mike Ansel.
Where are you headed?
Lakeside, one way.
That's definitely going to be the home base of this season.
Shadow? Your father would like a word.
So this character is, I think, the voice that we were hearing earlier through the Buffalo God. The actress is named Ashley Reyes, and she plays a character named Cordelia. The name Cordelia is likely taken from the character in Shakespeare's King Lear, although that character is also a reference to a legendary queen of the Britons named Cordelia. I should note that this character doesn't appear in the novel, but according to an article I read, this Cordelia character is basically an assistant that Mr. Wednesday hires, much in the same way that he hired Shadow. In fact, she's kind of like Shadow's replacement, his intern for this season. And because she's Shadow's replacement, that actually makes me question whether or not she is also a god or demigod like Shadow and potentially Wednesday's daughter. Maybe he's got a whole bunch of these children out there in the world that he sort of takes on to do his bidding, so to speak. And here we have Mr. Wednesday looking very scraggly and smiling with that conniving, manipulative, mischievous smile that he has.
Hello, my boy.
Wednesday talks to Shadow through the cell phone, and here we get a shot of Wednesday appearing in an Odin-like garb at a black metal concert. I guess it's like Norwegian Viking metal or black metal, heavy metal concert, and no doubt a place where he receives a lot of worship and veneration and power.
I don't do your bidding anymore.
Shadow says he doesn't do Wednesday's bidding anymore, but my guess is he still will. I mean, Wednesday is pretty manipulative and tends to get his way one way or another. And here we have a shot of Crispin Glover as Mr. World. There will be other forms of Mr. World in this season, which we'll see a bit later, but Crispin Glover does return as Mr. World, at least for part of the series.
Stay close. You can get lost in here.
Wednesday says stay close, you can get lost in here, and then Shadow walks into what appears to be the backstage, this sort of plane that exists in people's minds. At least I think that's where it is. Here we have a shot of Sweeney. He's obviously dead. He died in the last season, was killed by Shadow, and Laura is now trying to resurrect him. So I think that's why we see him here. This is Laura trying to get him back. He has something written on his forehead, which I'm not sure about. It looks like forget ill. If someone knows what's written on his forehead, please let me know. And here we have Mr. Marilyn Manson, who, according to an article I read, will play the lead singer of a Viking black metal band, and he himself is apparently a berserker. He's an ancient Viking berserker who has somehow stayed alive, I guess, due to legends regarding him. And you can see he's probably pointing to Odin, Mr. Wednesday, who's going to make an appearance. We have Shadow looking at these fireflies and sort of enjoying himself in Lakeside, appreciating the beauty of the place, I guess. We know that the African Orishas of the Yoruba people will appear in this series, so it's possible this is how he sees them. He can see their lights or something. That's just a guess. Here we have the first shot of an Orisha. This is the Orisha goddess of the rivers, water, and fertility called Oshun, and she's played by Horizon F. Guardiola. I think that's how you say it. I know her from The Get Down, the Netflix series. And this is the police chief, Chad Mulligan. I'm pretty sure. He has a lot to deal with in the book, so I'm sure he has a lot to deal with in the series, and he's played by Eric Johnson. Here we see Laura, who is disintegrating into sand, and I have a sort of a theory about that, but I'll get to that later in some of the later shots. And here we see Wednesday's assistant, Cordelia, basically Wednesday's enemies, the New Gods, trying to take her out, Godfather style. But my guess is she'll survive.
You have a powerful destiny.
This shot is interesting. We see this figure in the middle, and around him there appears to be a Native American-style hut and some drying skins, which makes me think that he is the figure of Whiskey Jack, also the Native American trickster spirit and culture hero, Wisaki Jack, who appears in the novel. Or he is Wisaki Jack's friend, John Chapman, also known as Johnny Appleseed, and he says to Shadow that he has a powerful destiny. In this shot, we see Laura opening up her chest and revealing the coin inside her. I think she's giving this to someone in exchange for bringing Sweeney back, but I'll get more into that later. And in this shot, we see that Laura is in some sort of an elevator, subway type of thing. And my guess is that she's going to some sort of an underworld. And given that when she died in the first season, she went to the ancient Egyptian underworld, my guess is that's where she's going back to. Here we see Machete himself, Danny Trejo, who plays a version of Mr. World. I'm not sure exactly why Mr. World changes his form, but one of his forms will be Danny Trejo, and there's also Miss World, which we'll see in the next shot. Yes, here we go. This is Miss World, another form of Mr. World, played by Dominique Jackson. In this shot, we see Bilquis using a little hooky shank type thing to take two people out, and I'm actually not sure what exactly she's doing in the scene or who she's fighting. I'm sure they're probably agents of the New Gods. This shot I'm not sure about. We can see the figure on the left is obviously wearing period clothes, but I'm not sure who the figure in the middle is. She's probably a goddess, and we know that the Greek goddess of the harvest, Demeter, will be in this season, so potentially that's who it is. Here we see Sam Blackcrow returning from season 2. She's also a character in the Lakeside section of the book, and she's played by Devery Jacobs. And we have another shot of Wednesday in his Odin garb at this metal show, soaking up the worship. He appears to be crowd diving from a balcony of some kind in this one. A quick shot of Technical Boy 2.0. And this shot is interesting because it introduces another new character, Ramsay Bolton from Game of Thrones. Actually, it's the actor who plays him, Ewan Rayon, I think that's how you pronounce his name. According to an article I read, he plays a leprechaun like Sweeney, and as you can see, he's wearing a green shirt and a vest with clovers on it, so he seems to be playing up the kind of leprechaun stereotype image more so than Sweeney. The most interesting thing about this is the golden coin that he's holding in his right hand. It could be the coin that Laura gives to him in exchange for Sweeney's life. At least that's my theory. Of course, if she doesn't have the coin, she dies, and that would again send her probably back to the Egyptian underworld, so that might be what we saw earlier.
When we rise together as one.
So we hear a character saying, when we rise together as one, and I think this is an Orisha. In a shot just after this, we see the rapper Wale. I called him Whale in the last breakdown because I honestly don't listen to any hip-hop past like 2003. Anyone past 2003, I have no idea who they are or how you say their name. But anyway, he's playing the Orisha god Shango, sort of like the Orisha god of thunder. The woman we saw before him could be one of his 3 wives. One of his wives is the goddess Oshun, who we saw earlier, but she could be one of his other wives, like Queen Oba or Queen Oya. In any case, I'm pretty sure these are the Orishas, and it seems like Bilquis is interacting with them. In this scene, we see Bilquis channeling water, or somehow using water to escape some kind of a cell. And I didn't know she had the power to control water, so it could be that she's channeling the Orishas, other Orishas that have water power like Oshun. I'm not sure. What are your thoughts? Here we see Shadow with basically his love interest during this part in the book, a character named Marguerite Olsen. She's a reporter who works in Lakeside, and she kind of develops a bit of a thing with Shadow. In the series, she's played by an actress named Lila Loren. Here we have Mr. Ibis returning, and Salim returning as well. Another shot of Mr. Wednesday in his Odin garb at that metal show, and what looks like Laura falling into a tub, maybe the one from season 1, and potentially this is her gateway back to the underworld.
You have no idea who I am. I am a god.
And finally, we have the last shot. Shadow says, "You have no idea who I am a god." In the background, we can see on either side of his head, Odin's ravens, Hugin and Munin. They are like spies for Wednesday, so probably watching him. Although the way they're perched actually makes him look kind of like Odin himself. We also see a bright light coming through the windows, which again is that light imagery that is constantly associated with Shadow. In one of my videos, which I'll link above and below, I theorized that the light means that Shadow is either the Norse god of light, Balder, or some kind of reincarnation of Balder. Basically, he has some connection to Balder, so that could be what the light behind him is hinting. But anyway, that's the last shot of the trailer. What are your thoughts on this trailer? Does it still look interesting to you? Are you still interested in Season 3? What do you think some of these shots mean for Season 3? Do you have any theories about where it's going to go? I'd love to know your thoughts in the comments below. Or after Mr. Nancy leaving, are you just totally done with the series? Let me know your thoughts. Also, if you're not subscribed to this channel, please subscribe and hit the notification bell to be notified of more videos like this. Give the video a like, and thanks for watching. Until next time.